The legend returns. I have no idea what I mean. What I mean by that, other than Chick Hernandez, WUSA TV in Washington D.C., back from Tampa with the Commanders having beaten the Buccaneers on the road. I joked yesterday, Chick, that apparently every 20 years, like clockwork. It's clockwork, not clockworth. Although who knows?
Yeah.
Washington goes to Tampa and wins a playoff game.
Here's the deal. I'm going to guarantee you that it won't be another 20 years until a playoff game. I'm going to make that guarantee. You can book it. Absolutely going to happen again within 20 years. And to be here for it, I'm going to tell you right now, after covering this team for the better part of 3 decades, is just an absolute freak show. Just unbelievable. And it's been a great ride so far. I'm a member of the media, no cheering in the press box, but right. I do root for the guys individually, and I want the team to do well, because if the team's doing well, then I'm talking to Adam Gold postseason, and this is what we're doing. It's been spectacular, and to watch I can't even call him a rookie, because he's really not.
No.
He's just not.
All right, so here's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to do. I want you... because you and I have known each other for well over 10 years. I'll just leave it at that. We remember, I'm a New Yorker. I went to Maryland. I was a Ferner. You are a born and raised in the district area. You grew up with this football franchise. It is remarkable, and I know the reasons for it, but I want you to walk us through how you go from a franchise that seemed dead to the one, maybe the most lovable franchise, to, in soccer they call it neutral fans, to people who are just football fans. This franchise has become lovable, and it's been a year and a half since it's happened, 2 years tops since it's happened. Walk me through how we have gotten to this part with the Commanders.
Well, they danced with the devil, Dan Snyder, for the better part of 2 decades.
Yeah.
This is a guy who professed to be a longtime R-word fan, Redskin fan, and, he was born and bred in it, and nothing he did ever looked like he meant what he said. Not the nicest human. That's me being kind and not being in a lawsuit. And, at one point he said he had, receipts on other owners when things are going downhill. So come on. So you went from Dan Snyder to the Josh Harris group. Josh Harris, Mark Hine, Mitch Rales, all just like Snyder, grew up in the area.
Yeah.
Lived through RFK and the Rocking Stadium and all that as kids. And they're just, as I say, adults are running the building now. Simple as that. When I walked in the last 2 decades, I'd get looked up and down, and it would be, "Can I help you?" Or no, more like, "What do you need?" With the look like, "Why are you here?" Now when I walk in, it's, "Hey, chick, what do you need? What can I help you with?" And it's adults who run the building, from the ownership group to making the decision to bring in Adam Peters, who was one of the most highly sought after executives. Dan Quinn. This is a great week, right? Dan Quinn versus Ben Johnson for the Lions. Ben Johnson, everybody thought had the job, and then I guess the story goes he didn't like the fact that one of Josh Harris's executives or consultants was a basketball guy,
right?
Because he owns the Sixers, and Ben Johnson didn't like that. Okay, well, great. Well, have fun in Detroit, and you're in the playoffs. Congratulations. You're not a head coach. Dan Quinn came in and has built this culture up. In fact, I'm going today to practice to do the story, and one of the cruxes of my story is that Sam Cosmi, the right guard, said in the locker room the other night, because I know it sounds trite, but we never felt like we're out of games, and the reason is brotherhood. And he goes, I know that sounds really like a cliche, but when you are playing not for yourself, but for someone else, it's that importance is just different, and you forget everything else. You try to do what's right for everyone, and that's what Dan Quinn has built, and that's why this team is lovable. You don't have, guys with stupid penalties for showboating and all that jazz, right? It's just that they want to hang around and be there in the fourth quarter because the 24-year-old first-year quarterback has ice in his veins. And the only time we've ever seen emotion from Jayden Daniels is when Marcus Mariota threw a late touchdown pass against Dallas. That's the only emotion we have seen, other than maybe the Hail Mary when he shook the Bears bench after the game, which is, that was a crazy ending. But it's completely a 180 turn, and that's why they're lovable, and that's why I give them a shot against a very, very potent Detroit team.
Oh yeah, potent doesn't even start with that group. Have you guys heard? Because I think we have heard a lot of comparisons from Dan Quinn to Dan Campbell, even though I think that Campbell he's different. I don't think there is anybody quite like Dan Campbell in how he approaches. I'm not talking about the strategy of coaching because I don't think anybody has reinvented the wheel here. Although there is a similarity between the two in terms of aggressiveness on fourth down, which we'll get to. To me, Dan Quinn carries himself like, look, I've done this, probably should have never gotten fired with Atlanta. I've done this, and there are certain things I needed to refine, but he seems so comfortable with being Dan Quinn. Like, he's not trying to impress anybody. What is it like to have been covering him?
Well, I'm fortunate, and we have a partnership with the team, so I sit down with him every Monday. I just did one yesterday. And, at the beginning of the season when we announced this deal, Coach was in Hawaii. We did a Zoom to announce the deal. He was in Hawaii. I was not, thankfully. Thanks a lot, Coach. And I said to him off the top, on the air, I said, look, I'm the type of guy, Coach, if you suck, you suck. If you're good, you're good. He goes, bring it on. Love it. He goes, it's Tell the Truth Monday. Because I'm about that. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. If we're bad, I have no issue with you saying we're bad. And if we're good, perfect. So we've done this now 17, 18 weeks, and the conversations have progressed to the point where his wife, Stacy, looked me up a couple of games ago and said, hey, I just want to tell you something. We've never met her. I've never met her. We were at before a game, and I think in Dallas, and she's like, hey, I'm Stacy Quinn, and I got to tell you, my husband loves doing the Mondays with you because he feels like you're going to tell the truth, but you're going to make it entertaining. And she said you're bringing something out of him that he normally wouldn't let out because he's a head coach. What he did when he left Atlanta was to ask former coaches and players, what is it I need to do to be better? And it's in a journal, all of that. He took notes about everything so that if he got a second opportunity, that he would be ready, and he is ready. The difference between Dan Campbell and Dan Quinn for me is I can see Dan Campbell's jugular vein, right? I mean, it's poking out. He's screaming and yelling. Dan Quinn, only time he yells really is after a win on the sideline for a second and in the locker room with his guys. Once he meets us, it's a very introspective guy. So there's the difference for me. Two very good coaches who connect. I'm using air quotes here. The players coach. They're both player coaches, and I think even before the first game, the talk about Dan Quinn was every former player said, "No, they're going to love playing for him," and that's what's going on here. Is they're playing for each other and playing for a guy who is just he's made the right call every turn. Cliff Kingsbury, former head coach, the OC, could have come in with an attitude. But I'm learning stuff from him, and he's also working with a subject that in Jayden Daniels. I mean, Cliff can do anything he wants with this offense.
Yeah,
and oftentimes does. I mean, we saw a two-quarterback set last game when Marcus Mariota walked out there. We saw Jayden go in motion. We were like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So it's great. It's all roses. And even after losses, he's been straightforward about what it was. He knew exactly what it was and didn't mince words about it. And that's what you want. We have been lied to by coaches in this market before.
Sure.
Mike Shanahan, the day he left, admitted he didn't tell us the truth often, as if we didn't know that, right?
Right.
And Ron Rivera, you could tell he didn't believe half the stuff he was saying to us. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but I think in the case of Ron Rivera, he was probably covering up for a lot of things that head coaches, unfortunately, at times have to cover up. I always thought Ron was a very solid human being, put in a very difficult position. Because so I want to ask you one more thing, and we can go any number of ways from this. It would be easy to look at this season, the entire season, really. Because there's probably been an early arrival here. Jayden Daniels has been better than anybody could have rightfully expected this entire year. I mean, he's easily one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the entire league already.
No question.
Is this house money? Or, I mean, how do you avoid looking at it as house money? Because there's jobs to do still.
It's house money. I've been top executives on the field the other night. Were excited and fist bumping and stuff, and the handshake and lean in. I'm being told we're working with house money now. The exact quote. So there's no above, the water level right now as far as what they thought they would accomplish, and we could not predict what Jayden was going to be. I asked Coach Quinn about it the other day. I was like, you met him. I was there with you at LSU's Pro Day. I know that you interviewed him several times. You knew his physical talent, and you might have an idea of his mental talent, but could you have predicted this? And he said, no, but we got a quick flash when he was working, at 5:30 in the morning in the bubble every day and on off days. And he said, Coach Quinn, about Jayden Daniels, I admire him. And that was telling to me. I admire him. It was not none of this, hey, he's a great work ethic, blah, blah, blah. He said, I admire him. And that's different talk than a coach gives a lot of players. He's a different cat. Yes, he's slight. A great analogy about his running style, and I forgot who said it, was he's like a slalom skier.
Oh, wow.
We haven't even seen him open up yet. We really haven't. And he maneuvers his way through traffic like a slalom skier. He's just his eyes are really good. He's taken a few hits for sure, and I think those are times when he knows that I have to get that yard. But he's a slalom skier. He gets through guys, and the pressure that Todd Bowles put on. We all said it could be ugly if the offensive line doesn't hold up, or if he's got a half a second more, he's going to make some plays, and that's what he did. He found Austin Eckler. He found, and by the way, Terry McLaurin is having a career year.
Yep.
I don't think I'm trying to, the comparisons to who as far as contested catches. I don't know. And my brain's not working, but when the ball's in the air and he did not have a chance to catch the ball, he's doing it. And you're like, that's insane. Right. So It's been a blast, and house money, yes. If they lose, will it be disappointing? Absolutely, because they know that they are just as good as any other squad of the final 8. And the road wins, all of it is taking place. I mean, you think about this for a second. Jayden Daniels, 0 punts, 0 turnovers in a playoff game. He's also done it 2 other times this year. And there's only one, Peyton Manning, who's ever done that many times.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
By the way, you brought up Terry McLaurin. I had written down, I probably am, from afar, and I've never met Terry McLaurin, happier for him because you could tell he is just a world-class human, and he has gone through all the stuff we talked about at the beginning, and now he has been rewarded with this regime and this quarterback and this situation. It is tremendous. Good for him. And I will now forever consider Jayden Daniels to be the Ingemar Stenmark of the NFL.
Oh,
yeah!
Wow,
great slot.
I was gonna go Franz Klammer, but yes, okay.
Klammer was a downhiller. Klammer was a downhiller. Stenmark is the greatest slalom racer of all time.
Yeah, but see, the speed of Klammer and able to navigate gates But don't forget the great Frank Gifford call in the Olympics back in the day.
Sure. He and Bob Beatty, man, I will never forget that.
Right, when he almost fell, and he goes, "Oh, Plummer, no, he's up," and he gets the gold. Come on, man. Come on.
Innsbruck, Austria, man. That was when I fell in love with downhill skiing. Very not that long later, I fell in love with a young chick, Hernandez, in a very platonic way. But yes.
Yeah.
I have deep feelings for you, sir. I could not be more thrilled that you get a chance to go on this ride with the team that you grew up with. I appreciate your time always. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you Super Bowl week.
I'd be happy to. Happy to. I said this in the press box, and it still holds true because it makes me laugh every time. I said, "Boy, we sure do miss Sam Howell." No, we don't.
Oh, man. That hurts. Yeah. That hurts here.
I understand it. But that's you talking. I'm sorry, I'm going to take you longer here, but
I'm with
Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin never ever was the way. What I just said that would never be what he would say. He was behind Sam Howell 100%. And to speak to why you're happy about McLaurin, if anybody wants to Google the pregame speech he gave last week, it's a different McLaurin than we've ever seen. I've never seen Terry McLaurin curse. But he is about as foul-mouthed as it comes because that's with his guys. But with us, he is as professional as it comes, and he deserves what he is reaping right now. He's got a guy who can throw a masterpiece, and he wants to be a part of that painting. And right now, it is spectacular. Whatever happens on Saturday Night Live happens. They are really set up for the future because Adam Peters is still making moves and will make some better moves come next year. I mean, the free agent acquisitions, the Luvu, Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, all spot on, and I don't think they're going to slow down.
Yeah, we're all team Frankie Luvu down here anyway. You are the man, Chick Hernandez. I appreciate your time. I will talk to you soon.
Okay, Goldie. See ya.
The best, the absolute best.